Welcome back to the Ed Show. As President Obama's poll numbers get better, the right wing seems to be getting crazier. The chair of the National Republican Party, the committee, the RNC, says re-electing President Obama will end America as we know it.
Mitt Romney has to win. For the sake of the very idea of America, Mitt Romney has to win for liberty and freedom, and we have to put an end to this Barack Obama presidency before it puts an end to our way of life in America.
Generic pablum is what it's called. Texas Tea Party Senate candidate Ted Cruz actually joked that the president might put him and his supporters on a so-called kill list.
Kill list. Should Congress have oversight?
Well, number one, I'm worried all of us run.
But nobody's laughing when Florida Representative Allen West claims the Obama administration wants to enslave Americans by offering food stamps and unemployment benefits.
We are creating economic dependency, and I call it slavery. It's a different form of slavery. It's not physical, but it can be even worse because it trounces the indomitable entrepreneurial spirit of the United States of America.
I think that the reason people love you is because you're so plain-spoken.
And crazy. On many subjects, I might add. The governor of Maine might have been too outspoken. Paul LePage apologized for what he said about affordable health care during a radio address.
You must buy health insurance or pay the new Gestapo, the IRS.
Oh, Governor LePage apologized for that Gestapo remark, saying that it wasn't my intent to insult anyone, especially the Jewish community, or minimize the fact that millions of people were murdered. Well, he should have stopped there. But LePage added more crazy talk. He says the word Gestapo simply clouded his message. LePage insists our individual freedoms are being stripped away by the federal government. The chair of the RNC claims that President Obama is the most negative campaigner this country has ever seen. That might be the craziest thing they've claimed so far in this campaign season. Let's bring in MSNBC political analyst Richard Wolff. Great to have you with us tonight, Richard.
Thanks, Ed.
Is the Obama campaign running a negative campaign?
Well, they are running negative ads, but that's not all they're talking about. You know, as in any campaign, certainly as it happened in 2008, they're running positive ads, they've got a positive agenda, and they're talking about their opponent in, yes, critical ways. That's the nature of politics. You know, I'm just surprised that these Republicans, many of whom gained power and elected office through the Bush years, have no recollection at all of this guy called Karl Rove and the politics that he's brought through that period and into the current one with his current organizations like Crossroads. This is their kind of politics. They should recognize it, but they should also recognize that's how these elections get played out throughout America, by the way. That's what the founders intended, a vigorous contest. And ask the historians who look at Abraham Lincoln's time. There's nothing particularly dirty about this time.
Yeah. Well, ramping up the rhetoric. I mean, clearly that's what they're doing. How does Romney benefit in any way from this? Why didn't he tell them to back off and get to the facts? Because it's all a lot of generic hateful talk and scare and fear tactics and such stuff as that. How does Romney benefit from that? I don't see that he does.
Well, for a start, I don't think Mitt Romney is in a position to tell the party anything. If anything, the party is telling him what to do, as we saw just last week on the whole question of the health care mandate. Was it a penalty or a tax? He'll change his tune no matter what, because he came out of the primaries incredibly weak. This is a party that cannot really exert central organization in any way. You've seen that in members of Congress. John Boehner doesn't have a lot of control over his own caucus. So, you know, the problem for the Romney campaign is that if it's just about firing up the base, if they think there are enough Republicans out there, this strategy makes sense. But they know full well, if you look at their messaging, you look at how they're trying to position themselves, that this election is going to get decided by the middle, by independent voters, by infrequent voters, the people who are not going to be fired up by this kind of crazy talk.
Well, when the president comes out today and offers up an extension of tax cuts to 98% of Americans, that's nothing but positive. And it's winning the middle class. Does today's announcement somewhat shift this campaign and put more pressure on Romney? What do you think?
Well, for a start, the president's talking about the economy, again, about pocketbook issues. What are Republicans going to do? They want another vote on repealing health care. They're off message, off topic. For them, they wanted to frame this whole tax debate about money going to everyone, a sort of equality issue. This president's reframed it in terms of middle class and how do you get the economy moving again for the middle class in the short term and the long term. I think, this is how, as president, having the bully pulpit means you set the agenda. The other side has to respond to it in a meaningful way. That doesn't mean another vote on repeal of health care.
And they have not done that. Richard Wolff, great to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
There's
Ed.
a lot more coming up in the next half hour of the Ed Show. Stay with us. The reports from Mitt Romney's Koch brother fundraiser read like an Obama-bashing mustard commercial.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? But of course.
The big panel weighs in next. Police and firefighters forced to take minimum wage pay decreases. We'll tell you about the middle-class nightmare in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And it's the picture everyone is talking about. And now the man in the kayak is telling his story.
I looked behind me, and that's when I saw the shark, which is pretty much right there.
I'll ask shark expert Chris Wojcik if the increased shark sightings on Cape Cod are anything to worry about.